In this video, I'm going to show you how to remove and replace your cooling fan on a Nissan Frontier, located between the cert belt and the radiator. Locate your battery on the passenger side front of the engine compartment, and you have your negative terminal, positive. We're going to take the negative cable off with a 10mm wrench or socket. Loosen it up just enough to get that terminal end off, and I like to tuck it somewhere underneath there so it doesn't come up and ground itself out. Remove the air box hose and lid to access the area. So we're going to disconnect the mass airflow sensor connector. Squeeze that tab and lift up. And then you're going to have to take this tab out of the way because you want to take that harness out of the air box. Just take a pair of pliers or something and squeeze those little plastic ears and pull that harness right through. Undo the two tabs that hold the air lid to the bottom box. You can actually, if you want to, pull that right up like that. Now we're going to follow the air tube right over to that throttle body, and you have two clamps holding that down, 8mm or a flathead screwdriver. Loosen them up. So now we're going to take this PC hose right off, PCV, pair of pliers, grab the clamp, push that clamp away. You can use the same pliers to just kind of wiggle that hose. Disconnect it. Now we have two screws up here taking this cover so we can access the other ones. 10mm socket, take that engine cover off. Take those two screws out and just lift it up. There's two rubber bushings holding it down after you take the bolts out. You have two more bolts right here holding this air tube down to that bracket, 10mm socket. Now we can just grab that and wiggle it right off the throttle body. Now we can take the air box, spin it up, and you'll see the little vent tube right here with a nice little clip on there. Squeeze that, push that through, take that right out. Set that aside. Now we can take that whole air cover right out of the way. Going to remove the grill piece, and that's 6 clips on the top here, and there'll be 6 tabs on the inner edge. So pull up all the tabs. Now when you bring the grill forward like this, you'll see in here there's 3 long tabs, and you're just going to push down on the tab with your finger from underneath, push up, and then go to the next one, do the same all the way across, and then you can get the grill right out of the way. When doing this job, you don't need to drain the whole radiator. Just put a bucket underneath and catch some residual coolant that's going to come out of the upper hose when it comes off. So just with a pair of pliers, I'm going to squeeze that clamp. I'm going to take it off the engine too, just to make it that much easier for me. So this actually is a heater hose removal tool, so it shouldn't stab the hose. It gets underneath the tube and it just breaks the connection where it is. like that. There we go. And just remove that upper hose. Now we're going to remove the overflow tank hose to the radiator. Pair of pliers, just squeeze that clamp. Get that out of the way. Now we can follow it from the shroud. Disconnect it over. Bring that right over there. Now we're going to go across and take the 3 bolts here connecting the shroud to the radiator, 10mm socket. AC pressure switch connector and disconnect it. There's a little tab you're going to push down with your thumb and pull on that electrical connector. Pull it right off. So let's disconnect the line, the connector, electrical connector to that electric cooling fan, and just take a pair of pliers, squeeze it down in there, pop the tab off. Sometimes they're not savable, so you can put a plastic tie in place to replace it once you remount it. Then the connectors right here, we're going to push down on that tab and pull. See if we can get a small screwdriver in there. Nice. Set it aside. Now that the shroud is disconnected from the radiator and the electric part of the fan is disconnected, we're going to grab that tab right here. We're going to have to manipulate that shroud forward and then pull this up. Now we can grab our electric fan and install it, slide it down in between. Now don't forget to make sure the electrical part is facing, I got it going the wrong way, see? Make sure the electrical part is facing the engine because it fits right through that little slot. Might have to maneuver things, manipulate it a little bit. There we go. Now there's 2 spots down on the shroud where the feet of that fan fit. The top one fits right in like that. Okay. Make sure all your hoses and everything's out of the way. So now we can put our upper shroud together to our radiator. There's 3 mounting bolts, or holes, shall I say, 1, 2, and 3. And they're plastic type screws with a 10mm socket head. They're self-tapping screws. Get that one started. This one in. $10mm socket. I'm going to drive them right in. Now we can take our electric fan harness and reconnect it. You'll see those little plastic ears, snap them back into place. That goes over there. That one goes there. Put the connector in until it clicks. It was a silent click. That goes to the high pressure switch until it clicks. Now we're going to put our upper hose back on. Put the engine side on first, then attach it to the radiator. Make sure it is all the way on, right to that stopping point. We'll take our expansion clamps, get a pair of pliers. You always want to line them up with the old groove if you're reusing the old hose. Now we can put on our radiator overflow hose, run it under the upper hose, put it right in that little shroud connector. There's 2 of them. Hook it up to your radiator. Get your pliers. Put the clamp on. Now we're going to put our air box back in, and you'll see the 3 tabs right here, 1, 2, and 3, and the 3 tabs are on the air cover. I'm going to slide those right in. Let them fall into place. You'll know they're in place because of the way the seat, it'll seat up here. You won't be able to get those clamps on. Just like that. Remount that vent hose on that little tab. Let it push down in. So while you're putting the throttle body hose on, the air hose, make sure you lift it up enough to get these 2 mounting screws cleared. And then push. And there we go. You'll feel them fall right into place. Now we can grab that breather hose, put that right on, and our mass airflow sensor connector. Don't forget the mounting clip. All right, let's get a pair of pliers, 10mm socket. Pair of pliers, I'm going to put the clamp back on that breather hose, lining it up to where it used to sit. 10mm socket, I'm going to snug down on the mounting bracket. 2 screws. And then over here, we're going to tighten up our hose on the throttle body, and that's an 8mm socket or flathead screwdriver. Making sure it's nice and snug. Tighten up on those clamps. Now we can put the engine cover on. Make sure you put the rubber bushings on top of the mounting studs and push down on it. Just like that. The push. And then you have the 2 mounting bolts. That's a 10mm socket. You're going to line up the 6 tabs that are on the slots on the bottom. Across the bottom, you've got 3 per side. Line them right up with the bumper cover that has the slots in them. You're going to have to tilt the grill cover just to line right up, and then you're going to push it in until it clicks. And then you have 6 plastic push pins on the top. Sometimes when they're new, they're kind of tough to put on. So you got 3 on each side of the grill. To reattach your negative cable, slide it down over, make sure it is all the way down. 10mm wrench. Once you feel it bottom out, grab the cable and pull up on it so that you're not putting any pressure on that lead stud. Make sure it's not loose. Good to go. When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.